It's the recap for Thursday, August 8th, 2024. I'm Daniel Montoya Jr. for General Effect Media. Well, it's here, the final week of the 2024 competitive DCI season. We have already had open class prelims and finals, which took place on Monday and Tuesday. And today, Thursday, we have preliminaries, which has all of open class, all of world class competing for semifinals and then finals. Today, I thought I would discuss what I think about the groups that are competing to make semifinals, because we're going to have two rounds. Really one, and then a recap of Saturday. But we have two rounds to really talk about how we're cutting down from 30 plus cores to 25 cores to 12 cores. So today, let's show a little bit of love for the cores that I think are going to place 13th through 25th after Thursday's preliminary competition. Now, if we look at the current scores rankings, and again, you can use whatever application you wish to use. I have decided to use Core Clash. That's what I've used all summer long. I really like it. I think it's cool. This is not an ad. I'm just letting you know. But you can certainly use bandscores.net. You can use DCI or any other sort of algorithm-based AI. But right now, if we go off of the rankings based on highest score, we have the Blue Knights in 13th, Crossmen in 14th, Pacific Crest in 15th, Spartans in 16th, Blue Devils B in 17th, Spirit of Atlanta in 18th, Music City in 19th, The Academy in 20th, Gold in 21st, The Battalion in 22nd, Columbians in 23rd, Genesis in 24th, and River City Rhythm in 25th. If these were the scores, those would be your semifinalists. The world-class cores missing out on semis would be Jersey Surf in 26th and Seattle Cascades in 27th. Now, a little bit about scores from open class to world class. If you've never been involved or worked with or been a part of or paid attention to open class, you may wonder, how do the scores compare from, say, open class finals on Tuesday to world class preliminaries on Thursday? And I'm here to say there's usually a significant difference, though sometimes you can find minimal difference, and that's usually in the cores that are fighting for that last semifinal spot. If we go back to 2022, and I like to go back to post-COVID scores, and we really only have two competitive seasons to discuss. The Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets won first place in OC Champs with an 83.550. When they performed on Thursday, they then received an 81.525, which was a drop of over 2 points. This placed them in 18th place. For comparison, the Troopers, who placed 12th that year in finals, scored an 84.8 in their last show, which I believe was in Cincinnati. However, in their finals score, which would have been 3 days later, they scored an 86.675. So I realize that's a bigger goal. One, the Vanguard Cadets scored 2 points lower, Troopers scored 2 points higher, just kind of looking at how that works. If we go to last summer, 2023, where the Spartans won with an 82.263, they ended up in preliminaries with an 81.913, which was just a negative of 0.350. So again, their score went down, but not nearly as much as Vanguard Cadets from the night before, or the year before, rather. Blue Knights scored an 86.15 in their last show, which again, I believe was also in Cincinnati. In preliminaries, they scored an 86.65, or was it finals? I'm not sure. I'll fix it. It'll be right here. Regardless, their score only went up 0.5 from their last show that was before finals week. All that to say is, if we're looking at the rankings of these groups, you could say that maybe the difference is 2 points? 1 point, maybe 0.5. Not really sure. There's not an exact science in these last few years, and I didn't go look at every drum corps and see how their scores fluctuated, which probably would have been good, but that would have been a lot of math, and I didn't want to do that. So if we're looking at this right now, the Spartans have an 82.963. If we go off of the Vanguard Cadets model, they would get an 80.9, something or other. However, remember, they only lost 0.35 last year from OC finals to world-class prelims. So if that happened this year, well, they'd be at an 82.6, which is still pretty good. So the problem with this is when you have open class cores that are all bunched together at the beginning of the show, and then you have reverse order of the world class cores, you have the Spartans, the open class champ, trying to compete with drum corps that are 5 or 6 groups later. So I think that the placements may still shuffle between Thursday preliminaries and Friday semifinals. But having said that, that's why I'm going to give my predictions for 13 through 25 just for Thursday. This is just for Thursday because, as always, scheduling, who you're playing against, all those competitive dynamics really come into play. If you're playing closer to your opponent, the scores might come out differently. If there's a lot of groups between you and your main competition, again, the score is going to be kind of wonky and all over the place. Because keep in mind, the first drum corps goes on at 12 p.m. Eastern time. The last drum corps goes on, well, I don't have that page because we're not talking about it, but it's definitely after 7 p.m., possibly 11 p.m. So it might be almost 11 or 12 hours of drum corps because there's breaks and intermissions and dinner breaks. But let's work backwards, shall we? Let's talk about the groups. Well, no, let's start at 13th. Let's just take the drama out of it, because the drama is who's going to make the cut. So let's start there. If we start at 13th, I think we're going to see the Blue Knights. I think the Blue Knights are going to place 13th on Thursday. In 14th, I think we'll see Pacific Crest. I think they would want to be higher, and they might possibly be higher on Friday. It's just that their performance order has them after the Crossmen, who I believe will finish in 15th after Thursday's performance. And then in 16th place, I think we see the Spirit of Atlanta. 17th place, I believe we see the Music City. In 18th place, the Academy. And then 19th place, I see the Spartans. Now, last year, the Spartans placed 19th. The year before, Vanguard Cadets, the winner, placed 18th. I think Spartans have a chance on Friday to move up. I think performance order, how many spaces there are between them and their competition, is going to come into play. So I think right now we're going to look at 19th for the Spartans after prelims. I think the Blue Devils B are going to place in 20th place. And then we go back to world class with Genesis at 21st. I think we'll see Gold finishing in 22nd place. Battalion in 23rd place. 24th, I see Colombians. And 25th, the last group to make it into semifinals, will be the Jersey Surf. Now, this is going to be an interesting competition because there are groups, like I said, that are scoring higher from open class, scoring higher than world class scores. But the world class scores are all going to be right here or right here, and all the open class scores are going to be right here. So you're hoping that you can score high enough to beat these cores down here. Now, you want to score high enough, but then you're also fighting judges who have to save their scores for 30 plus groups so that they can make sure that they leave space later on in case there's a group that maybe scores a little bit lower in a caption or higher in a caption. So there's a lot of gymnastics when it comes to math that if you're playing at, for example, if you are the Spartans and you're playing at 3:30 p.m. and you're trying to beat the Academy who plays at 4:55, that's an hour and a half. Luckily, you're still in the same block. You're after intermission, you're before intermission. If you were trying to compete with Pacific Crest, 6:30, which means you are in a 3-hour difference. So performance order is going to come into play when it comes to prelims. Unfortunately, when things kind of get locked in prelims, there's not a whole lot of room that changes in Friday and semifinals. But if it's close enough, you can count for a little shift. Obviously, the goal is to compete and play as long as possible, making it to Saturday. But right now, we have to assume, based on history, that the Spartans will not be playing on Saturday night. Right now, the closest we have seen, I believe, was 14th. Am I correct? We've talked about this a while back. And so could they get as high as 14th? I'm not so sure. I think that maybe if we look at the ceiling for Spartans right now, I think 16th place might be the ceiling for Spartans, but we'll see how they are scored by the judges and all the captions and all the neighborhoods and all that stuff. It's going to be a jumble. If you see what we call a zip code in the recap, that's kind of good. I'm one of those people that believes you shouldn't really see straight ones across the board. I like seeing WGI percussion recaps where it's just like, oh, this, because being first place doesn't mean you're the best at everything. It just means that taken as a whole, you're the best. Right? And I think that we get into this as judges or fans, or I'm not really sure, but the people smarter than me has said the statistical possibility of the first place group scoring almost all first, second all second, third is basically like minuscule. It's just that we are, as judges, go like, well, it's a sixth place drum corps, so they're probably fifth, sixth, or seventh in their caption. Right? And yes, you'll have that random outlier like the Cavaliers winning drums and then scoring 8th overall or something like that. So I get that things happen. Or Carolina Crown winning and their drums were 6th or 8th. I'm not really... There are examples of groups overperforming and underperforming, but that's like one caption. And to me, there should be more variety in sub-caption rankings. But that's just me. You're going to see some zip code stuff probably in the as high as 11, 12. Maybe even 10th through all the way down, you're going to see some things. I think there will be some consensuses, mainly at the tops and the bottoms of the rankings. But the closer we get to the middle, I think we're going to see a little bit more jumbling in zip code. And to me, that's a good thing. To me, that's a really good thing. So this is how I think that semifinals are going to come out, or rather the race to get to semifinals. I think we're going to look at Jersey Surf as the last group in, which unfortunately leaves out the Seattle Cascades as the only world-class group that would not advance to finals, at least based on my predictions and thoughts and assumptions and whatnot. So what do you think about that? I'd love to hear what you think. I know we're going to release this in the morning and you're going to go, oh, do you have time to watch this, and give us a comment? Let us know. What do you think about what I think? What do you think personally? If you've seen more OC shows, I've seen more world-class shows than open-class shows. Admittedly, I haven't seen any open-class shows live. So I'm going off of videos on YouTube, both official and unofficial. I guess if they're on YouTube, they're all unofficial. But, I know how to make good cakes now. Let us know what you think about how the rankings are going to come out on Thursday. I do think that there's going to be some jumbling on Friday when we get to that 13th through 25th place. Maybe in the 20s, things are going to be kind of settled, but 13th through 17, 18, I think there's going to be a lot of this going on, and that's exciting to me once again. So let us know what you think about this in the comment section down below, how you think the rankings are going to come out getting into semifinals. And hey, let's think ahead how you think things are going to go getting into finals on Saturday. Spoiler alert, I think the Scouts have it in. I think barring a huge malfunction of epic proportions, I think the Scouts are in, and I don't think it's close. That's just me. You can assume that I've got more bias, and I'll admit my Madison Scouts bias. But if you'll remember my videos earlier, I was proclaiming that my preseason predictions had them in 15th. And here I am saying I think they're solidly in 12th. So I grew, and you can too. As always, let's pay some bills. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell so you know when we release a new episode. And if you haven't noticed already, down below, we have our store up there. It should be good to go to order different versions of different shirts, like the Gem logo. You can get it in white or navy on different shirts. You can get some of the very successful, very popular General Effect, the brand stuff we have uploaded on there as well. And as we get closer into band season, into winter season, we'll definitely start getting into long sleeves, hoodies, etc. So be sure to check that out. All the profits are split amongst our content creators. Speaking of content creators and profits, Coffee, KO-FI. If you would like to donate some money, you don't want to buy anything, but you want to donate even $1, $5, $10, $40, $400, we'll even take $40,000 after administrative fees and whatnot. Yes, shared with our content creators, because right now this is just a labor of love for all of us. We're just volunteering because we love marching, we love the arts, and we love the marching arts. So give us a donation, if you will. And as always, please subscribe to us on Instagram, generaleffect.media or General Effect Media. It'll be somewhere so you can see it. I don't run it, I promise you. The kids run it, so it's gonna be much better, much cooler. And if you want some really nerdy, awesomely written stuff, please go to our generaleffect.media Substack so you can read some great articles like Back of the Bus, some wonderful opinionated editorials, and just some stuff about scores and drum corps and armchair program coordinating, etc. And yes, we will be back tomorrow, which would be Friday morning. I'm gonna do my best to record a quick, short predictions as who's gonna make it to finals. And then maybe on Sunday, we'll do a finals recap, probably on Sunday, uploading on Monday. And then that would conclude the competitive drum corps season of the recap. But fear not, we fully have intentions of uploading 1 to possibly 3 videos a week, focusing on drum corps, focusing on marching band, and a little bit of indoor winter percussion and color guard. The issue with that is I'm an active judge in the winter, so content coming from me will not be about any indoor marching percussion, just to avoid any semblance of a conflict of interest. But other creators will be uploading content and creating content for the winter, so we won't leave you high and dry. You just won't see my pretty face and hear my wonderful voice through your speakers and TV screens or phone screens or iPad screens or iWatch screens or any screen you wish to watch and listen to us. But we're going to be here. Content's going to not stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Marching arts doesn't stop for anyone, so why should we? Anyway, click, save, send, etc. We'll see you tomorrow on the next episode of the recap. We'll see you tomorrow on the next episode of the recap. I'm just excited. I'm excited. Aren't you?